Greetings! Welcome to the Devlog for hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We're going to start, as always, with a quick sound check. Make sure speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for this week? Well, we are back in the indoor range for the first time in quite some time, and that's because this week I was mainly working on a whole bunch of underlying system stuff that doesn't have really anything cool to show yet, so I figured this week it was about time we pulled some things off the queue and put some more guns into the game. Our first one here is a wonderfully hideous piece by A2. It is it's something that caught my eye a while back and was like, that's so weird, that's so strange, that has got to be an H3. It is the Model 10A Bullpup shotgun, and I mean, I'm just gonna let you breathe that in for a moment. Just sort of check that out. This is, like, there are some Bullpup firearms where I'm like, I can see how an ergonomic improvement was made for someone who's getting in and out of a vehicle, going through doors, etc. This, on the other hand, the action feels so far back relative to the rest of the weapon. This might be one of the most awkward to use shotgun I have encountered. Let's fill that up there. Pull the bolt back. Yeah, the action is so far back. We have a cross bolt safety, and the foregrip is so short. It's like you're gotta cramp your hand all the way up here, like we're using this tiny little machine pistol just to fire. I mean, still shoots like a shotgun, so 4+1. But so yeah, so I imagine someone thought this was a good idea back in the day, but yeah, I'm not feeling it. Well, let's try this. Let's try this one-handed. See how this feels. It kicks like a mule. Oh no. Such a weird piece, and it's got just the strangest thing. Apparently this was not great for the real one. It has an integrated flashlight, which is weirdly dim. I need to turn that up. That is way too dark. But what's funny about it is that apparently one of the things that made this stink in real life is just the violent motion of the gun firing tended to knock the batteries loose in the flashlight, which, when you're using a compact bullpup shotgun relying on your flashlight, the last thing you want is to get like 2-3 shots into fighting and then just be like in the dark. So, oh, weird and wonderful and terrible, and exactly the sort of thing that belongs in H3. The next two that we have are have been in my sort of weapon pile implementation queue for a very long time. I've never really had a theme that it was appropriate to throw them into based upon what I was doing, so they've just sat there for a long time, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pop these in. The first one I found this model just ages ago. It's for a prototype by LH Cobb. That when Ian of Forgotten Weapons originally posted this, it was like a Rock Island Auctions video. He wasn't even sure what they were, or that the owner had associated them with Ivor Johnson. And then someone in the community found the patent from 1911 on that. So like that's pretty Space Gat looking for 1911. It is a little .32 pocket pistol with the sort of spring in the top, barrel on the bottom. But I don't know. I loved the shape of it, and I just have a thing for pistols from this era. Like, there was so much experimentation going on, and there were so many people trying to work around the patents of others and establish the value of their own patents, that people were just like aperture science style, just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks for science. And so you just get, you know, this is, you know, very much the sort of thing that you expect before we standardized so much of sort of what makes up a handgun. And I love everything from this era. Beautiful little piece. And then third, a pistol from about the same era, a little earlier. This one I've had my my eyes on for a while, and actually when I was teasing things last night in the Discord, a member of the Discord community like guessed it in one, which sort of shocked me, which is that we have the Roth M1907. Just look at that gorgeousness. This is firmly in the like, oh, I would own one of these in a hot second if I could. These are I adore pistols of this sort. It is clip fed, and what's neat about the clip is that it's got this little pusher on it. I actually had to like modify the clip code to implement having a quote unquote follower for a clip. So we grab that, push that in, pull that back out. Take some shots. I haven't actually tested the sights well on this yet. Not bad, not bad. Wonderful. And as you can see, it just sort of like barely bloops the cartridges out. That's something I saw when I was watching people shooting it. Come on, come on. There we go. Wonderful. Wonderful. I can't get enough of strange old little pistols like this. Just cannot get enough. Looks like I animated a component on there wrong. I will have to fix that as well. Oh, cool feature of this. So this is a striker fired pistol. I actually had to implement another new feature of this. Let me empty this. So the pistol is empty, the hammer is dropped. We can actually see the end of the firing pin there on it. When we cock the pistol, it sticks out there, and what happens is you go to pull the trigger, we actually see the firing pin get pulled a little bit further back, and then the striker drops. So yeah, so that's just another fun little thing. It was like a detail that didn't have to go in there, but I saw that in the video and I was like, oh, that's too neat. I gotta, you know, I was trying to implement those futzy little unique qualities of old buttes like this. Wonderful. So yeah, so let's jump out of VR, talk about what else is going on. Yo! So we're out of VR. What else has been going on? Well, any of you who saw my last message on YouTube or been hanging around the Discord know that I've had like a comedy of errors the past 2 weeks. I oil burned myself on this hand all over my middle finger and on the top of it, which made mousing very, very difficult for a while. And I still got this like numb patch. And just as that was just starting to get better, I went and gashed myself on this. Apparently I've been flipping off the universe way too much lately because it saw fit to damage both of my flipping instruments. And so, yeah, managed to, was in the process of cleaning my sharpest serrated knife for cooking something. And turns out a knife that goes through meat very well goes through me very well. So this is, it's on the mend. I can actually type without it being painful now with all 10 fingers, but yeah, it's been a little exasperating. But that's one of the reasons I was just, you know, it sort of messed up my mojo and my rhythm a little bit. And usually when that happens and I want to try to get back into it for H3, you know, I go back to the sort of like the root process that I've done more than anything else for this game, which is like, I'm going to turn my brain off and I'm going to just implement some guns. I'm going to import some gun assets. I'm going to turn them around. I'm going to look at them and be like, ooh, this one's pretty sort of thing. I'm going to sort them into places and then just start implementing a bunch of them. So while I showed off 3 today, I actually got like started on another like 5 or 6 that'll be sort of like dripped in over the course of, I'll show off a couple of them on our way to update 105 and then probably include 1 or 2 as just a complete surprise on the actual full release of update 105. But yeah, it's after, I mean, been doing this for over 6 years now. It really is. There was a period of time where I got completely sick of it, just like sick of the process of implementing guns. And then sort of like it looped back around into being just like the ultimate comfort activity when I'm feeling like overwhelmed with other development work I'm doing, or just life stuff, and just being like, I'm just gonna find an obscure pistol from the 1920s and I'm just going to implement that. I'm going to feel better as a result. So there you have it. There's a couple more just sort of like oddities of firearms that Anton is into. And there's some more coming, including a couple model refreshes that are either something's being subbed out because the original model, I actually found a far better one for something I had, which is usually the only time I ever go back and sort of replace a model in H3 is when it's like very low effort bar, just so you're aware. It's usually like serendipity, like someone's like, hey, I made one of these, and I'm like, oh, let me look at the version of that I have. Oh, the version I have of this is terrible. I would like to use your model instead. So I rarely seek it out, but in this case there are a couple instances where I found sort of like either like a set of variants instead of the single version that I have in the game, and I'm like, this is actually worth it, usually with stuff that I really dig. So got a couple things along that lines coming, but beyond that, this past week I've been working on the scenario system architecture and just trying to make it like bulletproof and make it extensible, so I am not 100% locked into how things work forever, and that I've sort of left myself some hooks to expand things if I have other ideas in the future without risking just, messing everything up. So it's slow work, it's careful work, but it's important because it's the bedrock of a whole bunch of new fun and what will hopefully be just like years of awesome community content built on top of the game, on top of whatever it is that we make with it. So it's good stuff. And I thank you all for your patience as always. I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful week, and I'll have some more cool stuff for you next week. Peace.